What's up guys, in this video I would love to test out an autofocus on RED Komodo 6K and show you some real world scenarios of the usage of the autofocus. You came here for an answer if the autofocus is good. It is not. You can close the video and go buy a different camera. If you're here to see in which cases you can actually rely on autofocus or get away with, stick around. The software on my camera is updated to the newest version. It is 1.8.3. It is not a beta version of autofocus software anymore, so it is the most updated version, and from what I understand, RED is not planning to update this anytime soon. So I played around for about 3 weeks and I tested out different scenarios of focusing using the app on the face. Also trying to focus on moving subject, on tracking objects, wildlife, you name it. So let's break down piece by piece and show you some real life examples. So one autofocus mode that sounded really promising from watching other YouTubers online is using the app face autofocus. So I was like, okay, if I'm shooting interviews, I should be good. I just turn on the app, turn on the autofocus on the app, which you have to go to tools, click on first or last, which is first subject to detect face in the frame, or last. So if just one person is in the frame, you just click first and you should be good to go and get pretty good autofocus on the face, right? No, it is not like your Canon or Sony typical sticky autofocus that is holding on to the front face, side face, back of the face, helmet, whatever. From my tests, it only works when it is facing the person forward, when the person is lit pretty good, when the person is not backlit. Backlit is like the worst enemy of this camera autofocus. As soon as you point it against the sun, for example, you lose autofocus right away and the camera keeps struggling. So as long as you're facing the person and the person's face is clear, the person's face will be in focus and it will track it. But sometimes it will randomly untrack it and starts tracking weirdly different subject or object, like it's a face. Or let's say if you walk in the frame and you expect it to grab autofocus on the face right away, it just 50% of the time, maybe 30, it just won't grab it. And it's really annoying. So you kind of like have to wait for it until it finds the face. You can't even like click on the face and like it will grab it like I'm used to from C70 or the R5. You have to wait for the camera to find the face and then it will stick to it. In this test case, we had Victoria wear glasses and hat, and without glasses or a hat. So of course, without any glasses or hat, it worked the best. With hat, it struggled a little bit, but I was surprised it actually wasn't bad. So it looks like it, as long as it sees the eyes, it works. And also with glasses, sometimes it struggles a bit more. I notice even on me because I wear clear glasses, it works better if I don't wear them at all. We tried to also run this test where we were together in one shot, and I had first and last mode. I did not see any difference. It had really hard time finding the face no matter which direction I was standing at. I don't like this feature. I wish RED upgraded it a bit, since we rely here on the phone, a brain from what I understand, and the phone just sends information to the camera to roll the focus. So I would give it like 3 out of 5. Now let's go ahead and actually look into the menus of the autofocus on this camera. So here we have single and continuous autofocus. Of course, you want to keep it on continuous because it will continuously track the subject you are trying to track, and you can resize and change the position of the box. From my experience, it covers about 80% of the frame. Now, either way you are trying to focus with the little square on the screen or the autofocus for the face through the app. And I've tested out all these options the camera is given. So for example, you can change the size of the box from vertical to wide to large to medium to small. During the testing of this camera, small, medium, and vertical worked best for me. It seems like the large and wide tries to grab so much into focus, it loses it. For example, if you stand in front of the person or a bike or anything you want to focus on, like a tree, it will try to hunt. And you know how back in the days, like the cameras that were just like starting to implement autofocus, it would start hunting like really bad from here to there. So this camera hunting is a bit different. It's like a micro hunting issue going on. So like from the face to a shoulder, back to the face to like a hat, instead of hunting from face to a background and back and forth. So like you'll shoot on the camera, you'll think you're in focus, you come back home, pull it up on a big screen, and you are not. You'll see like these micro hunting going on from like small objects pieces to another, which kind of really sucks. The most reliable autofocus feature on this camera is, I would say, the small or medium square. And let's say if you position it like right in the middle or wherever you want to track somebody, right, and just walk towards the person or walk around or put it on a gimbal, it will work. And you'll see the square turn green. Green means it's completely in focus. Yellow means the subject is nearly in focus. Funny one. Red is not in focus. So for example, here I'm pointing the green square on Victoria and just like I'm walking towards her back and forth, and like also go around her or like go with her. It will work. Like it will actually stay in focus. This is probably my favorite autofocus mode, and this is the only one I would say that I would use. Any other mode that I have tried, it is pretty much useless for me. I hope RED will implement some software updates in the future. It also here in this example is kind of cool, like how Victoria had her face in front of the camera, right? And then I told her to put the hand in front of the camera, and like it would refocus so quickly. It would work really good, surprisingly. Like where I pointed on her face, hand, down on the ground on the towel, back on the horizon, back on her, back on the face. It actually refocused right away, nailed it 100%. That was really surprising. Now, I also took it to the park nearby and I tried to shoot some wildlife. Not good at all. I would just highly recommend just to use manual focus. I would not rely on autofocus at all. Even at times where it looks like it's in focus, the square, let's say, would be green, even on the screen or like a monitor that you have. And let's say it's a bird, right? So like the body of the bird will be in focus, but you come home and like the eye will not be, where like in mirrorless camera world, now you can have like eye tracking of birds and all kinds of animals and stuff. So like I wouldn't rely on the square box. I would just manually focus and like zoom in to make sure it's in focus. Well, in the most fun test that we have done, and this is related to the work that I do, I shoot a lot of bike commercials and anything that's basically on wheels and it's electric. So we had Victoria ride Super Series 3 e-bike and I followed her on a skateboard, electric skateboard. We were going about 20 miles an hour. And I tried all these different modes when I was trying to have her in focus. I tried the small box, the medium, large, wide, vertical. And like in my previous test, the camera would micro hunt from, let's say, a tire of the bike, back to Victoria, back to the background, back to like a chain and stuff like that. Even though on the monitor I thought it was in focus, but it wasn't. The only successful time that I got it in focus for like a good amount of time was using the vertical square box. It looks like it is the most consistent using in this type of shoot. I wouldn't again rely on this 100%, but let's say if I were to compare to Canon C70, which I usually use on these type of shoots, I would say the Canon C70 is about like 8 out of 10. Because it also misses sometimes, especially if you were on like an 85 lens, it would hunt like crazy. But if you're shooting like on 35 or 24 like we were doing here, pretty much 80% of the time I have the bike in focus. But here, using the vertical square, I would say I had it about, I don't know, maybe like 70% of the time. So still the C70 is a little bit better. Overall, if I were to compare this autofocus to the cameras that I have used, like Canon R5 or C70, R5 is like 9 out of 10, C70 is about 7 out of 10, I would give this camera like 4 out of 10. There is like so little use case that you can rely on the autofocus. You can't use this camera if you rely heavily on autofocus. Just skip it completely. Don't buy it. If you're okay with the scenarios that I mentioned, then this camera is for you. Or if you have a focus puller or you're planning to pull focus yourself, which I'm planning to also make a video about this. Let me know in the comments below if you would like to see my solution for pulling manual focus. It works pretty well for me on the gimbal and handheld. Actually excited to share this with you guys. During my testing, I also noticed that in low light, and I'm more talking about like blue hour right after sunset, the autofocus works about the same, which I was really surprised because my C70, as soon as it gets dark, the autofocus gets really bad. And I would say this autofocus stays consistently bad during the day or low light. I'm not talking about pitch black, but more like as soon as right after the sunset. Well, that is it for me. Thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know in the comments below if you're planning to buy this camera and if any of these cases are working for you. Also, let me know if you know any tips and tricks to get your focus better and any other solutions that you would recommend to improve the autofocus or use manual focus on this camera. But for now, I'm planning to use this more as a B cam or an interview camera where I'm going to be relying more on manual focus. Thank you so much for watching. Until the next time, peace.